Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another collection video. So today I'm doing a video for the first time in a couple of weeks. Things have been pretty hectic and busy here, but I thought it's time I get back on track to keep the channel going. So we're going to continue today by showing my vinyl collection. So if you've been watching my channel, you'll notice that I'm dividing my vinyl up of my existing collection into three broad categories, namely heavy metal, death metal, and black metal. So if you've watched, you'll notice that I've had one episode from the first two categories, but this will be my first one talking about black metal today. So something new and exciting for me, so I hope you enjoy it. We'll get into that in a moment. First of all, just what we're listening to, you may have recognized it. This is Marduk with Opus Nocturna. So the reason I put this on is because 1 or 2 days ago marked the 26th anniversary of the release of this album. Wow, time flies. So Marduk are a band which need no introduction, just classic Swedish black metal of the highest quality. They are in fact my favorite Swedish black metal band and favorite black metal band of all time. I discovered them in the mid-90s with the Heaven Shall Burn album and then Nightwing, and then actually after that I went back and discovered some of their earlier albums and I just loved those. But really, I've been a fan throughout their career. So this one would definitely rank in my top 5. I haven't sat down and thought about where the albums rank, but perhaps that's a topic for a future video. But this one is definitely very good. It's the album which it's the last one with lead vocalist Joachim af Grave. To me, he was the best Marduk vocalist, or my favorite one anyway, because I just like the harshness of his voice. It added a lot of atmosphere, especially to the earlier albums. Maybe the later singers suited the music of the later albums better, but for these first albums his voice was just awesome. It also marked the introduction of drummer Fredrik Andersson, who is just like a human machine gun. He served the album very well, served the band very well for a few years. This was his debut performance and what a crushing one it was. This album is just relentless, like chaotic, harsh, fast, really great riffs, nice grip on melody, and it's not melodic black metal, but you can hear all the guitar melodies clearly. Just clear enough, because there's a lot of harshness as well. And the drumming is just relentless, blast beats and thunderous, it's just brilliant. My favorite tracks, I could honestly read all of them to you, but I'll just name the highlights. Sulphur Souls, From the Subterranean Throne, Profound, Untrodden Paths, and The Sun Has Failed. 4 of the 9 tracks, but honestly they're all very good. So I'm sure some of you have seen this, just portraits of the band inside there. And this photo, love that photo, very atmospheric, really cool. And you'll notice here that this is the original pressing or the original artwork. Over the years they've sort of played around with the coloring and adding logos and everything, but I think this one, just simplicity is the best. So very glad to have this one. I can't believe that I bought it in '99 and I was going, wow, this is 5 years old. Here we are, it's 26 years old, hard to believe. But anyway, if you haven't heard this band for whatever reason, you must check them out. This is Marduk with Opus Nocturna. Okay, so getting into the records for today. A couple of them I have shown before, so I'm not going to go into as much detail. They were part of collection updates, but this one is one I've never shown. This is Archgoat with the Apocalyptic Triumphator. So fans of music like this, these kinds of channels, probably need no introduction to Archgoat, but anyway, if you're unfamiliar, they are a black death metal band from Finland, crossing over those two styles. There's some debate about, what style exactly it is they play, but I would say they take elements from both in terms of black metal, just the philosophy, the lyrics, the imagery, and the atmosphere, and then in terms of death metal, the heaviness, the grooves, the breakdown, the guitar tone, the vocals. So it's a really awesome blend between the extremities of those two genres. I first discovered this band in 2013 when I saw them live in Bangkok, and I was just blown away by a kick-ass performance from them. They looked frightening on stage, they were so charismatic. The show was like a ritual. It was like, it made an impression on me. Then I saw them again in Bangkok in 2018, equally crushing show, fantastic, and I thought, okay, that's solidified me as a fan. So the album I showed before was the Luciferian Crown in 2018. This one, the Apocalyptic Triumphator, came out in 2015. Love that artwork, it's very iconic, just sets the tone for what you'll find inside. So yeah, Archgoat are one of those bands where you know what to expect with their sound. You know, they have a particular formula. That's not necessarily a bad thing, which is essentially just brutal, dark, and crushing. So that's what you can expect on this album. The same thing, just really thick, heavy, fat guitar tone and like monstrous riffs, low guttural vocals, amazing atmosphere throughout. It's brilliant. So this album, there's 12 tracks in total, and it's sort of presented, I think it's supposed to be an entire album listen, and it flows well for that purpose. Like you've got, at the beginning of side 1, intro, left-hand path, and then beginning of side 2, intro, right-hand path. They are showing the contrast, I think, between Satanism and Christianity. But yeah, all 12 tracks are just brilliant. I have a couple of favorites though, which are tracks 2 and 3. They are Nuns, Cunts, and Darkness. Also track 3, the title track, Apocalyptic Triumphator. Both of those songs are just so sinister and crushing and heavy, but they're also interspersed with some atmosphere with these soaring keyboards, which sound really ritualistic. So just love that. So Nuns, Cunts, and Darkness, the Apocalyptic Triumphator, my 2 favorite tracks. Also Grand Luciferian Theophany. That is just a slow, sludgy, heavy, crushing track. Brutal guttural vocals. Just brilliant. Like that achieves new heights of heaviness, in my opinion. Then on side 2, some of my favorite tracks, Sadomagical Portal and Light of Phosphorus. Again, that same crushing Archgoat formula, but also with some guitar solos. And yeah, as I said, just some of the riffing in Archgoat is so heavy. The drums are crushing, and when they do those fills, like it just adds to the heaviness so much. So simply brilliant. Can't say enough good things about this album, but that's essentially what you get. Okay, so just showing you the inside, the vinyl for this comes on this nice dark purple marbled vinyl, sort of like mulberry color. I got this particular version from Hell's Headbangers in March 2019. So I'm glad to have the color variant, and quite nice labels as well. And just showing you a little more. A lot of you might know that Archgoat never shy on the packaging. They never skimp, so it's always the full package you get. Brilliant presentation. So it comes with this really nice, massive booklet. So with all of the lyrics, and it's kind of on this rough paper, which is cool. Kind of charcoal paper with all of the lyrics, so readable even for someone like me. And pictures of members of the band. Which is nice, and cool artwork there. And it just keeps going, so setting out the lyrics nice and readably. There you go. Okay, and it doesn't stop there. Also comes with this awesome poster, which, just look at that, brilliant, beautiful. I've been meaning to frame this for a long time, but I've been a lazy bastard and haven't got around to it, but that will definitely go up on the wall one day. Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Archgoat already. If you haven't heard this album though, I definitely recommend it. It's a winner. And if you've never heard Archgoat before, definitely check this album out. I can also, by them, fuck with this later. So by this band I can also recommend the Luciferian Crown, the most recent one, but honestly all of their albums are very good, so you can't really go wrong with this band. So something very different in the extreme metal genre. This is Archgoat with the Luciferian Crown. And we're back. Sorry guys, I had to just stop the camera for a second because my phone keeps fucking up and just switching off, stopping recording, which is really annoying. So I might have to do this video piecemeal, but now that I've made a start, I'm not going to stop. So I apologize for that. Some editing will be inevitable. So anyway, moving to the second album for today. This is Baptism with the Beherial Midnight. So if you've been watching my channel, you'll notice that I included this in my 666 collection update video, so I'm not going to go into as much detail with this. But if you would like to know about this album in a great deal of detail. You can watch that 666 collection video because I really talk about this album at great length. It's fantastic. I just don't want to repeat myself for people who have already seen this. So yeah, Baptism play black metal in that sort of typical Finnish style, which a lot of bands play these days. Like, it's really raw and harsh, yet at the same time it's melodic and there's a lot of atmosphere. So when I say melodic, it's not like pretty melodic, but like they just have a good grip on melody in general. And as with a lot of Finnish bands, it can be very riffy, so it's not just those tremolo riffs, you know, they also have these like sort of razor sharp, catchy breakdown parts as well, so it keeps you interested. I think being very riffy is a characteristic of a lot of Finnish bands, and this band delivers that in spades. So stylistically, who could I compare them to? Oh, quite a few bands really. Like, I would say, if you like those Norwegian bands such as Dark Throne, Burzum, particularly the album Transylvanian Hunger, like it's that kind of like really blinding, raw, atmospheric black metal, then you'll probably like this. Also Ulvers Nutten's Madrigal, which was also in the vein of Transylvanian Hunger, but even harsher. And then also there's elements of Burzum with the mid-paced breakdowns and everything. But as I mentioned in the other video when I talked about this, they have that distinct Finnish identity in terms of the melody and the atmosphere. With some bands, you can just tell they're Finnish bands, and I feel that with this band. So, and as I said, when it's interspersed with those razor sharp, riffy parts, yeah, you think, yeah, there's a good chance this band's Finnish. Finnish bands I would compare them to also would be Horna and Satanic Warmaster, but they're not identical to those bands. So imagine that, like a mix of those blinding atmospheric Norwegian black metal bands and early Norwegian black metal bands interspersed with some of the classic Finnish bands, and that's essentially Baptism. Just show you the inside. So this one is plain black vinyl, but comes with some pretty cool labels. The finger for side 1 and the goat's head for side 2. And there we go. All right. And it also comes with this basic insert with nice readable lyrics, which is cool. So it's a pretty no-frills album. Just look at this artwork. We've got the logo here and that moon in the forest. Very atmospheric. Picture of one of the main members on the back. Yeah, so it gives a perfect indication of what you can expect to find inside. Now, in my previous video where I talked about this, I named a few favorite tracks, and that ended up being basically all of side 2. But honestly, upon repeated listens, it's hard to name a favorite track because literally every track is good from beginning to end. This album blends together so well. There's so much bleakness and melancholy and despair in the riffs. It's just fantastic. And it also closes with a track which is kind of like keyboard based and reminds me a little bit of, I said before, Blessed Be the Grim Arts by Satanic Warmaster or Wongraven. It also reminds me of a Horner song, which Order Regnum Satanas, you know, that really trancy one with the keyboards, which is just mesmerizing. A kind of intro similar to that, outro similar to that. So great black metal album. Really glad I discovered this band. My friend Chris from Brazil, he was saying his favorite album by this band is The Devil's Fire. That's the most recent one. I've really got to check out more by these guys because I think they're an amazing band, and you should too. So this is their debut album, which came out in 2002, The Beherial Midnight. So as I said, if you like bands such as Dark Throne, Ulvers Nutten's Madrigal, Burzum, and then some of those classic Finnish metal bands like Horner, Satanic Warmaster, this is definitely up your alley. Bleak, harsh, melodic, atmospheric, fantastic. So that's Baptism with The Beherial Midnight. Okay, so for my next albums, these are ones which probably need no significant introduction, classics in the genre. Next one I've got, this is Bathory with Hammerheart. Okay, so if you're a fan of black metal, yes, you know all about this band. I don't need to say much, but for those who have, maybe who are new, I don't know, to this kind of music, basically this is one of the quintessential first wave of black metal bands. So along with other very influential bands like Venom, Hellhammer, Celtic Frost, Merciful Fate, and perhaps even Sodom, Bathory was one of these bands which formed the blueprint for modern black metal. And I think this band actually was perhaps the most influential in terms of shaping the second wave of black metal sound. Like when you listen to Scandinavian bands from the 90s from Norway and Sweden, there's a lot of similarities with Bathory in terms of like the distorted guitars, the vocal style, the speed and everything. So I think all of those bands other bands I mentioned, they played a very important and significant role. This one was very influential in terms of sound. But what's interesting about this particular album, this is when the band started branching off into a different direction. So they started off playing sort of very fast, raw, dirty black metal, with a kind of Motorhead influence and grim vocals and everything with a satanic theme. And then this is the album where they switched to Viking metal. So you can see there from the front cover, the Vikings sending the burning ship out to sea. So a farewell ritual. And arguably this is the first Viking metal album ever, although some will contend that the first one was Bathory's previous album, which was Blood, Fire, Death. That started to veer in that direction in terms of lyrics and imagery, but I think in terms of sound, for my money, this would be the first official Viking metal album. But hey, everyone's entitled to their opinion. So on this album, you still have black metal elements, but it's a lot slower. The songs are a lot more epic. You really feel the bigness and the epicness of this album. And all of the lyrics are based around Norse mythology and Viking things and everything. So it makes for a very epic atmosphere. And this is where, apart from the songs slowing down and becoming much longer, this is where the band started to incorporate other elements into their music, like clean vocals, chants, acoustic guitars, other instruments. So it really, it's just such an atmospheric, epic release. I just love it. I heard one person describe this as, I can't remember, like Viking opera or black metal opera, and I know what they mean. Like just the hugeness of this album. It really is just like an amazing experience. And like, I'm sure I'm not alone when I say I just get a very special feeling when I listen to Bathory and certain albums, and this is one of them. This one's just magic. So comes here on a double vinyl. You know what, double vinyls kind of piss me off because it's extra bulk, extra weight, and it's not really necessary. However, I think it's kind of fitting for this album because the songs are so big and epic. So you've got 2 tracks per side, and I won't pull both out because they're the same, but you've got the Bathory logo with the goat's head. Yep, very cool. So just plain black, and I think it also comes with an insert. Surprisingly, this one's not a gatefold. You'd think with so much stuff inside it would be, but oh well. And then just basic lyric sheet there. By the way, this particular one I got, someone asked me on Instagram the other day, oh, where did you get this one? And is it a repress? I'm not sure. I got this one through No Colors Records in 2015. So I think it's not that hard to get, but there might be variations on what you see now. But anyway, also really awesome artwork. I just love it. Just suits the music of this album. Now, naming favorite tracks, that's damn hard because when I've listened to this repeatedly, I'm going, oh, this one's good and that one's good. Like, honestly, every track is good, so I'm not even going to attempt to name a few. So, yeah, I'll just read them all. Shores in Flames, Valhalla, Baptized in Fire and Ice, Father to Son, A Song to the Hall Up High, Home of the Brave, One Road to Asa Bay. If I had to choose an absolute favorite track, though, it would be the last one, One Road to Asa Bay. There's a special reason. It's because when years ago, I saw the video clip to that song, and I just thought, wow, it's so moving with all the Viking drama and, you know, Christians trying to convert the Vikings to Christianity in Sweden. That's what it depicted. And it's just such an epic, melancholic song, like epic metal song, great riffs. And the clean vocals, they're not exactly totally melodic, but they've got some charm to them, and they're sung with so much emotion. So absolute favorite track would be One Road to Asa Bay. But honestly, guys, if you haven't heard this album, do yourself a favor and check it out. From beginning to end, it's an epic, brilliant listen. So, in my opinion, the first Viking metal album ever, but an essential Bathory album anyway. So that's Bathory with Hammerheart. Awesome. Okay, and coming up to the last one, I've got another classic for you, which I've also shown in the previous video, but it's essential when I'm showing my black metal vinyl collection. This is, of course, BEHERIT with Drawing Down the Moon. So, quintessential black metal. So if you're not familiar with BEHERIT, if you're new to this kind of music, this is a band also from Finland. They are considered one of the most influential in the second wave of black metal, although it's kind of, in my opinion, it's Black Death, because a lot of the vocals are very guttural and snarled, and then like just the guitars, you know, with a lot of black metal, it's like cold and bleak. This is also heavy as well, so it's sort of like elements of black and death metal crossed over, which a lot of these Finnish bands seem to do really well. Anyway, this album came out in '91, so it really shaped the genre. But what else is interesting about it is that no other band really sounds like BEHERIT. Like sometimes people try to mimic it, but like what's unique about it are the vocals in particular, where they're sort of like harshly whispered. And there's also a series of voices. There's also the low guttural voices, but this band has some really off-the-wall experimental moments, which just make it sound so eerie and intriguing and atmospheric. So like talking about the use of keyboards there, and also like just chants and spoken word sections. But then on top of that, you've got brutality, you've got heaviness, you've got some awesome fucking chugging riffs. You've got everything. It's brilliant. So this is an album, like, I don't think my description will suffice in terms of describing it, but all I'll say is it takes you on a journey. It's extremely atmospheric, sinister and evil sounding, and it may sound corny, but it makes me picture being in the landscapes of Finland. Sort of like I like this is like the shores here. On the CD version, they've got like a picture of Finnish islands. I think it might be Suomenlinna or somewhere, but yeah, like being in the woods, being in the darkness, being in the winter of Finland, something like that. But yeah, it really paints pictures in your mind and takes you on a mental journey. So whole album is excellent. Like honestly, you can't go wrong with this album. But my favorite tracks are Salomon's Gate, Nocturnal Evil, The Gate of Nana, and Unholy Pagan Fire and Summerlands. First time I heard this band, I was only about 16 years old. It was like 95. A friend of a friend made this compilation tape where I heard a lot of black metal bands for the first time, and when I heard Salomon's Gate, just that the heaviness of that riff and then that eerie outro with the keyboards and how it's like thudding and building, I just thought, this band is phenomenal. Love this band. Of those tracks I mentioned though, my favorite would probably be The Gate of Nana. I know that may sound cliched because a lot of people like that one, but it's seriously so atmospheric, so you can't go wrong with that. Okay. So this one also comes on this classic plain black vinyl. BEHERIT's logo there, which is cool. Unique to this album, they had an older one, like the old school one with the inverted crosses and everything, and the demons. I actually like the one for this album. And what's interesting is that after this album starts to toy with experimental aspects, and then later on they evolved into a full-blown electronic band where they played dark electronic music on Electric Doom synthesis and HV4 of 21C, something like that. Yeah, but both of those albums are really good if you want some atmospheric dark electronica. But to me, the one essential BEHERIT album, the best of them all, is this one. Yeah, so that's all I have to say. If you haven't checked this band out, you definitely should. That's a massive oversight if you've never heard this band, because they are phenomenal. So that's BEHERIT with Drawing Down the Moon. Classic Finnish black metal. Alright, and guys, I'm going to stop there today because I don't want these videos to go on for too long. I want to hopefully keep people interested, so I hope you saw something you liked there. Next video, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but it also depends on feedback from viewers. So as I always say, if there's something in particular you'd like to see, let me know. Otherwise, I'll create a theme of my own for the next video. But as always, thanks a lot for your support. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and people, please feel free to comment. Let's generate some discussion to talk about music. That's what this is all about, isn't it? So, yeah, I don't know when I'll be back, but hopefully once again before the end of the year. In the meantime, take care, stay metal, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.